Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Tylearn, and today I am bringing you guys a remastered What If. Yes, another remastered because the last one did kind of well. I'm going to be doing another one, and this one is What If Naruto prevented Kurama earlier. And with that being said, we can now just, skip over this, don't make the intro too long, and get straight into the What If itself. Hope you guys enjoy. And if you guys do want a part 2, be sure to support this video. But, just go watch it until the end, and then you decide for yourself if you want to support it or not. Similar to the original version of this What If, we will be starting our story off during the 2.5 year gap, and we will say here, instead of Jiraiya teaching Naruto, knowing how to make bigger Rasengans and stuff like that, just not really too much progress, but rather in this timeline, Naruto will be figuring out a lot more ways to control Kurama's chakra thanks to Jiraiya, and we will say that Naruto actually is able to get inside of Kurama, well, inside of his mind and talk to Kurama, which would then lead into Naruto trying to battle the Nine Tails, and him stealing just enough chakra to basically, allow him to go into KCM. Now, due to this Naruto not being even nearly as strong as his canon self, he would be relying on the likes of, summoning Gamma Bunta to try and defeat the Nine Tails, but this would then lead into Naruto, stealing just enough chakra, not as much as he did in the canon timeline, but just enough to basically satisfy himself. This then leads into Naruto being awoken into a brand new state and a brand new transformation, that being KCM, and this would then lead into Jiraiya being completely shocked at the fact that Naruto was able to undergo this form. Jiraiya would then try and spar with Naruto by trying to use his strongest techniques, but Naruto would just easily go through Jiraiya, blitzing him and even overpowering him as well. Jiraiya would even say to Naruto that even if he had Sage Mode and Mom Paw on his shoulders, he would still lose to this version of Naruto in terms of physical stats. Now, with this, Naruto is confident in his ability to take on the Akatsuki, and Jiraiya is as well, but Jiraiya would tell Naruto that he can't just be completely overconfident, and he needs to prepare for the worst. We'll say that Naruto actually begun mastering Kurama's chakra, or getting KCM, around the 8-month mark during his training, which would then lead into the remaining year and a few months left for Naruto just to completely get used to this form and train it up. And I think because of this new form and Jiraiya would really have nothing else to teach him, I think the only thing that could even come up in Jiraiya's head would be, teaching Naruto about his nature element. And if that's the case, this would then lead into Naruto basically trying to add in wind style with his varying Rasengans, and I feel like accidentally Naruto would discover the Rasen Shuriken. And especially with this version of Naruto probably being able to handle it like normal KCM Naruto, I feel like this Naruto is just going to be on a whole other level in comparison to our canon one, who just learned how to make smaller and bigger Rasengans, which was completely lame in my opinion. Anyways, this would then lead into Naruto arriving back in the Leaf Village, and with him and Sakura taking on Kakashi during this retake of the bell test, and this Naruto would just blitz and take the bells from Kakashi before he could even finish saying go. He would just be in the middle of saying go and Naruto blitzing Kakashi, and then him saying sorry that he didn't really know that Kakashi didn't finish saying go. So he gives Kakashi the bells back, and Kakashi would just say that it doesn't matter because Naruto's speed wouldn't with Naruto's speed gap in comparison to Kakashi's, because how fast Naruto is, it wouldn't really make a difference. So Kakashi just kind of gives up. This would then lead into the Akatsuki making their move and kidnapping Gaara, which would upset Naruto, and Team 7 and Team Guy would be taken into action and actually head out to the Sand Village, which would then lead into Sakura healing Kankuro like in canon, and then Team 7 and Team Guy encountering the clones of Itachi and Kisame. With Naruto enraged, he's not going to be wasting any time or hesitating. He would instantly activate his KCM cloak, which would shock the Itachi clone, but as he tries to do anything, Naruto would just blitz Itachi and would just one-shot him, completely eradicating the clone of Itachi. This would then lead into KCM Naruto heading out into the direction where the barrier would be, and because he's so much faster than everyone, he would arrive before anyone else. Now, due to the speed gap here, this would mean that Naruto would actually be able to arrive at the barrier where, Sasori and Deidara are doing the extraction processing, destroy the barrier, and save Gaara all before the extraction process is even complete, meaning they don't even have the full One-Tails extracted. This would confirm two things. One, that Gaara is alive, and two, the Akatsuki basically need to get Gaara now, and they can't because this Naruto is just so much more powerful. Deidara and Sasori would try and attack this Naruto, but with his newfound speed, he would just be blitzing everywhere and easily dodging their attacks. Naruto would give Gaara some chakra, allowing him to wake up and actually be enhanced by the Nine Tails. This would then lead into Gaara getting up and actually not being carried by Naruto, and he would then fight alongside Naruto, and because he's enhanced by the Nine Tails, I think Gaara would be able to take on Deidara, while Naruto would try and figure out what sorcery is. Now, in the canon timeline, Gaara and Deidara were kinda relative, with Gaara being able to actually damage Deidara, and because he's enhanced by the Nine Tails chakra by at least multiple times, this would then lead into Gaara being stronger than Deidara and actually defeating him. Meanwhile, Naruto's kind of struggling with sorcery. He doesn't really know how to kill him, but this would then lead into Chiyo and everyone else arriving, and Chiyo explaining the sorcery, or explaining to them about sorcery's weakness. Or really that he's a puppet, which would then lead into Naruto just deciding to attack sorcery even harder, which would then lead into sorcery trying to protect his, little heart piece that actually can kill him. If being harmed, of course, which would then lead into Naruto, catching onto this, and him just deciding to spam Rasen shurikens on sorcery, destroying that piece of sorcery, which would mean that they wouldn't get the info about Sasuke, but they would defeat sorcery. This would mean that Gaara is alive, there's no need for Chiyo to sacrifice herself, and Sakura and Chiyo would have never even need to fight Sorcery in the first place. The only con that comes really out of this arc is the fact that they won't be going on the second Sasuke mission. This basically means that the whole bridge encounter and really everything in that arc wouldn't really happen, since the main thing for this arc was the information given by Sorcery. So without that, there wouldn't be really any need to introduce Yamato or Sai. And really, the story would just kind of pick up from what happens after the Sasuke Orochimaru whole, that second arc, because Sasuke would eventually need to kill Orochimaru anyway, right? So, regardless, that still happens, not to mention the whole Kakuzu arc also happens. The only difference here is that when Naruto is trying to figure out as to where Kakashi went and what's really going on with this whole Kakuzu situation, Sakura and really most of the people in the Leaf Village are trying to keep Naruto out of the situation because he's a Jinchuriki. But Naruto just doesn't care anymore, proceeds to use KCM and blitz out of the village, and eventually he would make his way to Kakuzu and Hidan facing off against Team 10 and Kakashi. And this would then lead into the iconic Rasen Shuriken moment, but instead of Naruto having a little bit of difficulty to try and even land a hit on Kakuzu, Naruto's just going to swoop in, blitz, and one-shot Kakuzu. And as for Hidan, he can literally just do the same thing, except for, after he figured out that he's immortal, he's just going to cut off his head. But I do feel like if Naruto even tries to do that, Shikamaru would intervene and would say that he wants to personally take out Hidan. He would then use his Shadow Possession, drag Hidan into the forest, and do that whole 200 IQ plan that he did in canon, so he can get redemption. Or not redemption for Asuma, but redemption for himself and vengeance for Asuma is how I should put it. Regardless, Shikamaru gets that goated arc like he does in canon is what I'm saying, and the whole Kakuzu situation is just ended faster with the stronger Naruto. Now here, I think the whole Jiraiya situation would still go down, and while that's going down, Naruto and everyone else would be trying to look for Sasuke, who would be going out on his Itachi journey. And I think with KCM, Naruto would be able to search for things a lot faster, meaning a lot more ground would be covered. Meaning, I feel like Team 7, along with Team Kurenai, the whole search team in general, would just be a lot closer to finding Sasuke. This would then lead into them being kind of close to the area where Sasuke versus Itachi is occurring, and once they see Kirin just strike from the sky, Team 7 and Team Kurenai would then head in, which means they would immediately arrive once after Itachi pokes Sasuke in the forehead, which would then lead into Sasuke going unconscious and Team 7 and Team Kurenai bringing Sasuke back to the Leaf Village. And while that's all going down, Jiraiya would be going out on his Pain mission. As we all know, he still gets capped by Pain, which would then lead into Naruto being revealed the truth about Jiraiya, and in order to try and defeat these Pains, he will undergo Senjutsu training. And so Naruto would be trying to get revenge for his sensei by training under Senjutsu and mastering it, doing something that he couldn't, and while that's going down, Sasuke and Kakashi would be catching up, with Sasuke being supervised by Kakashi, and this is just an excuse for them to catch up and for Sasuke to apologize for leaving, but he had a mission. Bro, why do I sound like that? Anyways, Sasuke would tell Kakashi about how he had that mission, and Kakashi understands, but now that that's all over, Sasuke won't be leaving, right? And Sasuke then can confirm that he will not be leaving. This would then lead into Sakura trying to butt in and basically talk to Sasuke, because it's been a minute since they've talked. The last time they talked was when Sasuke knocked out Sakura. Sasuke would apologize for that night, and Sakura would accept because she understands what Sasuke was going through. But the next time that Sasuke is ever in that kind of trouble, she wants Sasuke to really tell her. So maybe she can help out, and this time she definitely can, and she would then show off her abilities to Sasuke, which Sasuke is impressed by. Sasuke would then say how that's pretty cool, and he would show off what he can do, and even ask Kakashi what he's capable of. Kakashi reveals his Sharingan and prepares to make it into an MS, but the second he almost does that, Pain would then strike the village and stop Kakashi, which is a good thing because if Kakashi revealed his MS to Sasuke, he would be burning alive right now by Amaterasu. They would just hear a large bang, and Sasuke, Kakashi, and Sakura would then go out to see what's going on in the village, and the Pains are assaulting the village, which would then lead into Sasuke and Kakashi taking care of the Diva and Osteropath specifically, while Sakura goes around trying to heal people. Now, with Sasuke's assistance, Kakashi would perform better against the Diva and Osteropath, but they wouldn't be able to kill him due to their linked vision thing, and that's pretty hard to get by. This would then lead into Pain inevitably trying to kill Kakashi, with Kakashi revealing his MS to everyone, including Sasuke, and trying to save himself from Pain. But what he wouldn't know is a blind attack from Sasuke, which would be an Amaterasu. This would burn Kakashi alive as he's been blindsided by the Amaterasu and didn't see it coming, and he had all of his attention and focus onto Pain. This means Kakashi brutally burns to death, and Sasuke, because of experiencing this trauma because of what Itachi did to him, would then awaken his MS and even launch an Amaterasu at Pain. Luckily for Pain, he manages to react in time and cast a Shinra Tensei, completely negging the flame and spreading them everywhere else. That's not Pain. Pain is then getting tired and bored, which would then lead into him using the chaotic Shinra Tensei, but luckily Tsunade saves everyone, although at the cost of her own strength. The Osteropath would then go in to try and finish off Tsunade, but luckily Naruto would then arrive, stopping the paths of Pain, and then focusing all their attention onto Naruto, as they know that they now have the real target in their hands. But the Osteropath is kind of a spurge, so he's gonna try and kill Tsunade anyway, but Naruto would just intervene and smash his head in like in canon. Naruto would then begin battling the paths of Pain similar to in canon, but after his Sage Mode runs out, it's not that Naruto loses, it's just that he uses KCM to actually fight back with Pain, and he's holding his own, but he just can't get a good hit on. Like, he's a lot faster and physically stronger than Pain, but with the Shinra Tensei constantly blocking him and with the Rinnegan helping him out perceiving Naruto, it's just not going to work for Naruto. But luckily Naruto has a plan and decides to overrun Pain's vision with shadow clones. As KCM Naruto tries to hit Pain from behind or any blind side, Pain would actually predict this and use a universal pull to pull in Naruto so he can know where he is, and then smash him with the chakra rod. At that point, Naruto would lose KCM, and this would then lead into Hinata saying the whole I love you thing, her getting capped, and Naruto going berserk. But he wouldn't go into that six-tailed form as KCM is stronger than that. The Nine-Tails would just amp him enough to basically access KCM again, and this would then lead into the Chibaku Tensei being used against KCM Naruto, and Naruto getting sucked into it. Now, I think here he would have his conversation with Minato, but he would also tell Minato about how he obtained this form with Kurama, and Minato would then say that Kurama is the key to victory, and Naruto being able to channel all of his power would be quite an advantage. This then leads into Naruto speaking to Kurama after the whole Minato thing goes down, and this would then lead into Kurama deciding to step in because not only is Pain a common enemy for Naruto and Kurama, but Naruto would also tell Kurama about this masked man figure that his dad told him about. And after Kurama hearing about this masked man fellow, he remembers him all too well, and he decides to lend Naruto a helping hand, which would then lead into the whole Naruto getting rid of the cage behind Kurama and Kurama being released. And with this, the Chibaku Tensei would then disperse away from Naruto, and it seems that Naruto actually did this with his raw power and chakra. And then we see Naruto drop down to face Pain, face to face, in a brand new form, KCM 2. But that fight will be saved for part 2 of What If Naruto Befriended Kurama earlier. Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you guys did like this video, be sure to smash that like button. If you guys do want part 2, just show support. Comment down below if you guys want part 2 or any what ifs that you would like to suggest for me to do. And if you guys, again, want part 2, hit that like button, share with your friends, just show some immense support. If you are new, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, that way you are notified and updated every time I upload, and be sure to follow me on Twitter and Discord, or join the Discord is what I mean. Both those links will be down in the description, and with that being said, I'm going to catch you guys in the next video. My name is Tylearn, peace out, bye.